This time, in part 2 of our adventure in northern France, we visit some historical Norman sites. Well, it's a final morning here in Normandy, so we're going to go out for a bit of a run, probably about 5k, and see what we can see.
Yeah.
Oh, look at the horses. Bonjour. We ran past this small chapel, which is at the side of the road. You may remember this from the first episode. And this tiny chapel is actually called Notre Dame. Chapels like this would have been constructed in years gone by, for use either by the rich family that constructed them, by the local townsfolk, or by pilgrims passing through the area. How's a bloody steep hill? Picked up the shatter. Heart is beating out my chest. It's getting warm too. That's enough of me trying to kill myself through exercise. Let's go out for a bike ride. You may notice myself and Deb are doubling up today on one bike. Guess whose bike's got a flat battery? Okay, so our destination this afternoon is a small town called Cerisy-la-Forêt. The name of the town is often shortened to just Cerisy, and it's got a population of around 1,000 people. There's been a settlement there since ancient times, and it was once the site of an Iron Age fort, although this was destroyed by the Romans, who built one of their own fortresses there. But the bit we're most interested in is the Abbey ruins. The first religious site in the town was built by Saint Vigor in the 6th century. But the abbey that we see today was constructed in the 11th century by the Normans and was closely linked to Mont Saint-Michel some miles distant. During the 100 Years' War, the abbey was fortified and in 1418 was taken by the King of England. But after the English defeat at Normandy in 1415, Normandy would return permanently under the Kingdom of France. During the 16th and 17th centuries, there was a military garrison based in the town, and the abbey farm was used as a prison. Today much of the abbey site is in ruins, although the abbey church is still in use and is used by the townspeople. The site is open to the public and is a very beautiful place indeed. There is a very nice ornamental lake to one side of the abbey, which forms part of a small park around the abbey, which features some modern art sculptures. On a previous trip to Normandy we had stayed at Cerisy, in a small house overlooking the lake and the abbey. It was truly one of the most memorable places we've ever stayed, and the morning view over the lake was absolutely stunning. Well, it's another day in another ancient town. Today though we're going to a slightly larger town because it's Bayeux. Bayeux is of course a town best known for the Bayeux tapestry depicting the Battle of Hastings. But there's also a Norman cathedral of course, as well as a military museum and a graveyard for British and Commonwealth soldiers. The town itself has a population of around 7,500 people and is not surprisingly very popular with tourists. Just across the road from the Commonwealth Graveyard is the Military Museum. That's where we're going to be parking today. Don't worry, we are going to go into the museum, we're not just using it as a car park. And we'll show the museum in a bit more detail when we cover Normandy's military sites in the next video. It's like the way Disney imagined France looks. With the cathedral in the background.
That's where Bella lives.
Yeah.
Just remember,
It's not a blackboard.
Whoa, I could have gone like that real quick.
well, thing is,
It's not a black artist.
No,
thing is, who didn't like modern art?
Me.
Hitler didn't like modern art, so you just be careful. You're siding with Hitler, Deb. Siding with Hitler.
Yeah.
Siding with Hitler. Sorry about that, just indulging our favourite sport of Debbie baiting. First place on the agenda, obviously, to see the Bayeux tapestry, which of course you cannot video.
Cathedral. Oh, cathedral, no, it's saying that way.
Is it?
Yeah, access, left.
We now demonstrate our incredible orienteering skills by getting lost in a small town. Has the crepe? Sorbet. Very pretty place, especially on a day like today, isn't it?
Oh, it's hot.
It's very warm. Initially a Roman settlement, Bayeux was settled in the 1st century BCE, but was largely destroyed by Viking raids in the 9th century, but was rebuilt in the 10th century under the reign of Buffon. The city was once again burned to the ground by Henry I of England, but would later flourish under the reign of Richard Coeur de Lion, that's Richard the Lionheart to we English. Bayeux was pillaged repeatedly during the 100 Years' War, until it was captured in 1417 by Henry V of England. But Bayeux, like the rest of Normandy, would fall under the rule of the French king after 1450. Inaugurated in 1077, Bayeux Cathedral was constructed by Odo, the Earl of Kent, who was William the Conqueror's half-brother, on a site once occupied by Roman sanctuaries, and it's also rumoured to be the site where Harold Godwinson swore an oath of allegiance to William of Normandy, before Harold took the throne of England, sparking the Norman conquests of 1066. The cathedral was seriously damaged in the 12th century and was rebuilt in the Gothic style, with a notable crossing tower and transepts at the east end. However, despite the crossing tower having been started in the 15th century, it wasn't actually completed until the 19th century.
Oh yeah, God.
Time to head back. We've got a long journey ahead of us tomorrow. Well, it's a long day ahead today. We're heading to Mont Saint-Michel. Mont Saint-Michel is quite a distance from our base, which is 7 miles outside of Bayeux, which means we've got about 75 miles to cover, and it will take us about an hour and a half to get there. Maybe a little longer because we're taking some back roads. Whenever you visit somewhere like Normandy, whether it be in a car or a motorcycle, there's a lot of nature and a lot of history around you, and it'd be a great shame if you're blasted by the motorway without ever seeing them.
It is, it's pretty. I love the star in the middle.
Oh yeah.
We're now passing through Cerisy Forest. This is very near to Cerisy-la-Forêt, which we visited previously. One of the great things about going off the beaten track is you never know what you're going to find, like this fortified town which we passed through on our way. Like so many places in Europe, small towns or cities would often be fortified in the Middle Ages. This is especially true in France during the 100 Years' War. Unfortunately, in this particular journey, we're just going to have to bite the bullet and endure a few miles of motorway travel. Ooh, that looks comfortable. Not really. Finally off the motorway. Mont Saint-Michel sits on a small island just on the coast, so once you get off the motorway you've got a few miles of back roads to cover before you actually get there. But the structure is enormous and you get sightings of it even from a few miles out. Once there, you're funneled into car parking, which is about a mile and a half away from the structure itself, so you've got the option to walk or to ride in on a trolleybus. We decided to walk, but while we were doing so, somebody found some apples from somewhere.
Yeah, they were, Jeb. Very reasonably priced. Let's go.
That's right, she filched them off a tree that was hanging out from somebody's garden. She said because they were hanging over the public footpath, then they were public domain. I'm not completely sure, but they were tasty. Mont Saint-Michel is a rocky, tidal island standing around a kilometre from the French coast. And the island has been listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1979. In the past, the island was only accessible via a tidal causeway, which would be submerged at high tide. However, in 1879 this was converted to a raised causeway which could be accessed all day. This, however, was superseded by a low bridge in 2014, but even this can be submerged at times of extremely high tides. It is said that in the year 708, the Archangel Michael appeared to Albert of Avranches, the Bishop of Avranches, and instructed him to build a church on the rocky islet. In 933 the mount gained strategic significance when William Longsword annexed the Cotentin Peninsula from the weakened Duchy of Brittany, making the site part of the Duchy of Normandy, or the lands of the Norsemen. The island is depicted in the Bayeux tapestry as a site where Harold Godwinson saved 2 Norman knights from quicksand on the tidal flats, and indeed it would be the Normans who financed much of the construction of the abbey that we see today on top of the mount. During the 100 Years' War, the site would be twice under French control, but would be laid siege to by the English in 1423 and 1433. On both occasions the sieges would prove successful. In medieval times, the site was a popular site for pilgrimage, but following the Reformation, its prestige and popularity would go into decline, and by the time of the Revolution, few monks actually lived on the site.
It's one word.
And so the decision was made to close the abbey and convert it to a prison to house high-profile political prisoners and clerics who opposed the Republic. By 1836, influential figures such as Victor Hugo were campaigning to have the site restored to its former glory. And in 1863 the prison was closed for good. In 1872, architect Edouard Corriere was given the responsibility of assessing the condition of the Mont and advising on repairs and reconstruction required. But so massive an undertaking was it that he would end up dedicating 15 years of his life to the reconstruction of the site.
Yeah, getting near near to the right, it's best to feel big feature. Just saying, you big pretty tree.
There's no doubt that it's a good idea to be in a reasonable state of physical fitness if you're going to visit Mont Saint-Michel. As you can tell just from the outside, it is pretty darn hilly and it's quite physical trying to get up and down through the various buildings. But this magnificent site is definitely worth the trouble. The lower part of the site can get extremely busy and is very narrow. And trying to get anywhere in these incredibly congested streets is something of a chore.
That's fun. Quite cosy, isn't it?
For me, there's nowhere quite like Mont Saint-Michel. It almost feels like you're walking through a film set. So surreal is the experience of visiting. And try as you might, it's very difficult not to make comparisons with Hogwarts and Diagon Alley, and this has likely conspired to make Mont Saint-Michel even more popular in recent years. Time to make the journey back to Bayeux in glorious sunshine, and to say farewell to Mont Saint-Michel, our final Norman site for this journey. Part 3 is going to be somewhat different as we're dealing with much more recent events and the Normandy landings. Sorry, part 2 of the French trip has been somewhat delayed, and there have been a number of reasons for this, ranging from illness to the planning for this year's big adventure, which is going to be something really special. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe, and of course, thank you very much for watching.